One thing that you can do with Loom during your recordings is actually use the draw tool to annotate on a lesson. A few things that you're going to want to keep in consideration, and once I actually start to record, I will show you the different choices you have with the draw tool. But keep in mind, when you are using the draw tool, it will disappear after a few seconds. So this is not, it will obviously remain in your recording, but on your screen, so as not to clutter up the space on your screen, it will disappear. So just keep that in mind when you are using that tool. So I'm going to use this grade 2 benchmark student activities. This is for week 1. Just as an example to show you what you could possibly do with the annotation tool while you're recording an activity. And of course you would adapt this to whatever grade level you're working with, but potentially if you have students that are missing and you want them to be able to go back to get the assignment, you could create a Loom on what the assignment is and then post it to your Google Classroom, and your students would be able to go back and watch and know exactly what they need to be doing with the assignment for that particular day. So if I click Start Recording, so now perhaps I would tell students that we're going to start with day 1, and I'm going to move through this. And so here, when I get to this particular slide, I might want to use the draw tool. Now notice when I hover on the left-hand side, this little menu is going to pop out, and the draw tool, if I click that, I have choices as far as the thickness of the pen, and then I also can choose the color. And so if I just wanted to choose red, maybe with the annotation tool, I'm going to show students, today's students were going to be watching a video as well as reading a text. And so if you look right here, boys and girls, this is exactly where the video is. And all you need to do is press play, the little play button here, to start the video. Once you're finished, you're going to be reading right here your text, and we'll talk about how to access that. And so if I'm done with this slide, do keep in mind that as the teacher, you need to click done, because if I go to select the next slide, I'm actually going to be writing on my screen. So to advance to the next view that you want your students to have, you're going to click done. And then I'm going to slide down here. Perhaps I'm going to point out a few things with the annotation tool, and then I might tell them that here is where they're going to be writing their response. And if I turn that annotation tool on again, maybe I'll go with blue this time. It says that I need to write about what the government does for the park. So maybe I might make this line a little bit thinner. I could do that if I needed to. But and if I want that to be a little thinner, all I would do is just drag that little slide bar down a little bit. And then if I wanted to point this out, I could go ahead and underline to make sure that students key into what the most important part of the writing assignment is here. So this would be just one way that you could use the annotation tool that's built into Loom with your students when you're creating a recording.